House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeant at Arms.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privilege of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by the Honorable Luke E. Torian, the delegate from Prince William, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring. I'm used to it.
Hey, good morning. Good afternoon. Let us pray. For your goodness and your grace, dear God, we're grateful unto you. When we reflect upon who you are and what we are to you, we are so eternally grateful. For the men and women in this chamber who make the sacrifices to care for the citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia, we are so grateful. Protect their homes, protect their families, and let us collectively do the work that enhances the quality of life for every Virginian. Bless the leadership of this Commonwealth. Bless our speaker as our leader. Bless this staff that works with him to ensure that we do the best for the citizens of the Commonwealth. To your glory and honor, we say thank you. Amen.
Amen. The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I've examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates of January 14, 2025. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39 pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40 are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communications?
No announcements or communications from me today. So according to this first portion of the morning hour, pursuant to House Rule 40, the Speaker requests that you use your request to speak button for the agenda items listed up for reference on the voting board.
The delegate from Bartertot, Delegate Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up out of order today HJR 470, which is not on today's calendar.
The clerk will report a resolution.
House Joint Resolution number 470, commending program partners for the Virginia American Revolution 250 Commission's Fincastle Resolutions events.
Mr. Speaker, I move for the adoption of the resolution, and I request to speak to the motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today, this weekend, the Virginia VA 250 will celebrate in Roanoke the Fincastle Resolutions, which were adopted on January 20, 1775, 250 years ago this coming Monday. The Fincastle Resolutions are noteworthy as the first document in which the colonists declared that independence was a cause for which they would lay down their lives. That was the first resolution sent to Williamsburg to declare, to take up arms against the king, to create our independence from the crown. I'd move for motion, approval of the resolution, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Bartertot, Delegate Austin moves that we adopt House Joint Resolution number 470. All those in favor of the adoption of the resolution say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Thank you for the work that you do, Delegate, in making this commission continue to run very efficiently. The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that we adjourn in the honor and memory of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Like to speak to that motion?
May I speak to that motion?
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, today on King's birthday, we honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Born 96 years ago today, on January 15, 1929, the Virginia Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Memorial Commission, of which Delegate Dolores McQuinn chairs, has long focused on Dr. King's life and legacy in Virginia and his vision for the beloved community that he sought to build. As described by the King Center Atlanta, in the beloved community, poverty, hunger, and homelessness will not be tolerated because international standards of human decency will not allow it. Racism and all forms of discrimination, bigotry, and prejudice will be replaced by an all-inclusive spirit of sisterhood and brotherhood. The beloved community, international disputes will be resolved by peaceful conflict resolution and reconciliation of adversaries instead of military power. Love and trust will triumph over fear and hatred. Peace and justice will prevail over war and military conflict. Dr. King spent a significant amount of time in Virginia, protesting the closing of public schools, encouraging African-American voter registration and political involvement, guiding civil rights demonstrations, and preaching his message of love and nonviolence. Between 1953 and 1967, he visited over a dozen localities in Virginia. A multi-city tour of Virginia was planned for March 1968, when he decided to go to Memphis to support sanitation workers protesting working conditions, which is where he was on April 4th, 1968, unfortunately assassinated. Today on his birthday, we remember his life, but we also reflect on how brief his life was, how much he accomplished, and how great our responsibility is to him. We must continue his work. We again ask the question that is always at the forefront of the King's mission: where do we go from here? It's a question Dr. King asked many times in his lifetime, that he wove throughout his speeches. It's a title that he gave to the final book. Dr. King's words, his faith in humanity, and his hope for the future gives us direction today as we continue to build our beloved community. Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it does so in the honor and memory of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Delegate Askew moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn in the honor and memory of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Those in favor of the motion shall rise. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Torian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I move that H.R. 481, found on page number 12, be passed by until Friday, January the 17th.
Delegate Torian moves that H.R. 481 on page 12 of the calendar be passed by until Friday, January 17th. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Chesterfield, Delegate Corner.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an announcement.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, I rise not to invite members to join the Diet Dr. Pepper caucus, because that would result in less for those of us who enjoy it in the break room. But I rise to invite everyone to remember that we collect the pop tabs off of all cans, whether you drink Diet Dr. Pepper, sparkling water. These pop tabs go to the Ronald McDonald House here locally, and they help assist families when their children are hospitalized at the Children's Hospital to be able to have free housing while they're here. So pop tabs are back in the members' lounge. I'd like to thank those of you, your staff, who remember they dropped these by our office. Your offices can collect them as well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Knight.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for purposes of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, in back of the gallery, we have a former delegate, and I'll get into that into a second, but he had quite a bit of notoriety when he was here because, you know, during crossover, the most junior delegate here is supposed to get the pizzas. So we had 100 delegates here, and everybody was hungry, and the former delegate said the pizzas are ready. Well, we all went downstairs, and an hour later, the pizza showed up. So everyone got to know the former delegate really, really well. Well, he was a delegate. Then he went to Virginia Beach, became on city council. Then he decided to go as sheriff. And I want to tell you that he says the only difference between serving here and serving as sheriff in Virginia Beach is a zero. I think y'all can figure that out. But it's my pleasure to introduce one of our former colleagues, former delegate and sheriff of Virginia Beach, Rocky Holcomb.
Welcome back, Sheriff Holcomb. And I guess Delegate Askew doesn't have to worry about running since you're making so much money. You don't have to worry about you ever running against him again. Those days are over. The delegate from Giles, Delegate Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. Joining us in the gallery today are students and staff from New River Community College. They are led by its new president, Dr. Robert Brandon. I ask that they stand to be recognized, please. Members of the House, Mr. Speaker, New River Community College is located in my district in Dublin, Virginia, and has been serving the citizens of the Commonwealth in the New River Valley since 1969. New River Community College mission emanates from that of the Virginia Community College system. Quote, "We give everyone the opportunity to learn and develop the right skills so lives and communities are strengthened." Mr. Speaker, I can attest that New River Community College is masterful at carrying out this mission. Mr. Speaker, members of the body, I ask that we all give New River Community College a warm house welcome.
Welcome, New River Community College. Welcome to the Capitol. The delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction and an additional motion at the appropriate time.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, with us today in the gallery, we have representatives of the Animal Welfare League of Arlington, and I ask that they rise at this time. The AWLA was established in 1944 by a group of 12 volunteers who recognized the need for a humane society in Arlington County and had expanded the scope of its mission of providing resources, care, and protection to include animals across the Commonwealth. In 1976, the AWLA was constructed its current facility on Arlington Mill Drive in the heart of the 3rd District. It became one of the only 3 shelters in the nation accredited by the Humane Society of the United States, and the organization has garnered a reputation as one of the leading animal shelters in the nation. The AWLA was the first animal shelter in the Commonwealth to spay and neuter all pets before adoption, a visionary practice that significantly reduced the number of homeless pets. And the AWLA's forward-thinking leadership has resulted in an incredible rate of success for its animal rehoming programs, with 97% of animals being adopted, transferred, or reunited with their families each year. The Animal Welfare League of Arlington has fulfilled its mission through generous donations and support from the community partners that it's worked with for years, and many hardworking volunteers who've cleaned kennels, walked dogs, fed animals, facilitated adoptions, and made many other contributions to ensure that this organization upholds the highest standards of care. Simply put, the dedication of the volunteers and staff has greatly improved the lives of animals and people in Northern Virginia and across Virginia. I want to express my admiration for the organization's vital mission and legacy of contributions to the well-being of animals in the Commonwealth. Members of the House, I ask that you please give the members of the Animal Welfare League of Arlington a warm house welcome. Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I now ask that HJ 471 be taken up out of order and move its passage.
Delegate from Arlington, Delegate Lopez, moves that we pass House Joint Resolution 471. Hold on one moment. The clerk shall report a resolution. For the future, you might want to let the clerks know ahead of time if you're going to move something out of order.
My apologies.
Mr. Speaker, House Joint Resolution number 471 is now before the body, commending the Animal Welfare League of Arlington.
All those in favor of adopting House Joint Resolution 471 shall say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to. The delegate from Richmond County, Delegate Kent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an announcement.
The delegate has the floor.
/ introduction / just point of appreciation. I stand along with Delegate Hodges and Delegate Blacksum to express appreciation for our lunch today. To our watermen, to the Virginia Seafood Council, but not only for our lunch today, but also all that they do for our industry here in Virginia. It is the oldest industry in Virginia, an estimated economic impact of over $1 billion, that's B, dollars on Virginia, and we're so grateful grateful for it. Virginia is the #3 in the state. We're hoping to move up to #1 in our impact on seafood. And so just wanted to say thank you to all of them that are out there still serving us lunch and for all they do for the Commonwealth.
Delegate from Hampton, Delegate Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, it is an honor and a privilege to welcome to the Capitol the American College of Nurse Midwives Virginia chapter and the Virginia Midwives Alliance to the Capitol today. I'm going to ask that there they are, they're standing. These dedicated advocates are here to amplify the voices of Virginia's midwives and the families they serve while championing policies that enhance maternal health outcomes, expand access to midwifery care, and support the critical work of midwives across the state. Their efforts also highlight the importance of a bill, write it down, House Bill 1923. It's a bill that I am carrying for the midwives, and it will ensure equitable compensation for midwives. This sends a clear message about the vital need to invest in compassionate and equitable health care for all Virginians. So will you please give a very warm welcome to the American College of Nurse Midwives and the Virginia Midwives Alliance to the House.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Welcome to the Capitol. Delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an announcement.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the 8th floor will be the first meeting of the Sportsman's Caucus for this year. I hope that many of my colleagues will join us and hear about continue to learn and hear about the wonderful resources that we have in our Commonwealth. And in addition, you'll be able to get a copy of the Virginia Wildlife Calendar. And I know fishermen are very important. That's a very important item for fishermen because it tells you the best days to go fishing. Thank you.
The delegate from Rockingham, Delegate Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the gallery today, we have representatives of Blue Ridge Community College in Augusta County. If they would please rise if they're in the gallery. There they are, front and center. So today we have President John Downey, members of his staff, and two of the most remarkable students who will have provided to me tremendous provided to me a tremendous amount of optimism. Sorry, I get tongue-tied there. Optimism for the future of our Commonwealth. They are just two delightful students, and I really enjoyed meeting them. Blue Ridge Community College offers a wide array of transfer and career-oriented programs that support economic development in our region, including registered nursing, veterinary and technology, aviation maintenance, and manufacturing. I request the members to join me in extending a warm house welcome to Blue Ridge Community College.
Welcome, Blue Ridge Community College. Welcome to the Capitol. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Bennett Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today in the gallery, we are joined by Students Demand Action, including members from Alexandria City High School and Hayfield Secondary School and their community partners, Cornerstone Craftsmen, if they could please stand. Students Demand Action is an advocacy group led by young people focused on gun violence prevention. It started nationally after the tragic Parkland shooting in 2018, and we have many very active members in Alexandria. Cornerstone Craftsmen is an Alexandria nonprofit that provides at-risk youth with instruction, tools, and mentoring so they can earn a livable wage with a career in the skilled trades, end generational poverty, keep youth safer from violence, and prevent justice system intervention. These young leaders are committed to making Alexandria and our Commonwealth safer, and I'm so grateful to have them here, and I hope you will join me in giving them a warm house welcome. Welcome
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Henson.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm honored to introduce the advocates of Moms Demand Action. I ask that they please stand. Moms Demand Action is a nonpartisan grassroots movement of Virginians across the Commonwealth and, yes, across the United States. They are dedicated to protecting our communities from gun violence. This organization worked tirelessly to advocate for stronger gun safety laws and close dangerous loopholes that threaten the safety of our friends, neighbors, and communities. Volunteers with Moms Demand Action also collaborate with local businesses and community leaders to promote a culture of responsible gun ownership, like Be Smart. They believe, as in we all do, that gun violence is preventable and are committed to ensuring a safer community for all Virginians. As we continue our work here, let us remember our family, friends, and neighbors who are counting on us to make a difference. And I ask my colleagues to give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Shenandoah, Delegate Gilbert.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I noticed last night our sheriffs were in town to host a reception for members of the legislature, and they are fanned out across Capitol Square today, advocating for things that make them better able to do their jobs and keep our communities safe. I would ask any sheriffs in the gallery if they would please rise and let us thank them for being here and for the job they do, and thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Sheriffs, and welcome to the Capitol. Thank you for the work that you do. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for an introduction on behalf of myself and Delegate Sickles.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, I'm in the gallery today. We have a special group of Students Demand Action from Lewis High School chapter, and I'd like to invite them to stand and be recognized. These students live in my district in the 18th, as well as Delegate Sickles' district. And as we've heard, Students Demand Action began in 2016 with the mission of advocating for gun violence prevention measures. The Lewis High School chapter was founded in 2024. According to the CDC, firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens in the United States. And I am so inspired by these youth who are lifting up their voices for safer communities. So on behalf of Delegate Sickles and myself, I ask that you join me in giving our Students Demand Action from Lewis High School a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Richmond City, Delegate Cousins.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. Today, we are pleased to welcome representatives from the Virginia Boys and Girls Clubs Virginia Boys and Girls Clubs here to Richmond. I think they're making their way in now. Visiting us today are representatives from clubs all across Virginia. Many of us are familiar with the incredible impact that the Boys and Girls Clubs have on our youth and families. In Virginia, the Boys and Girls Clubs provide services to over 21,000 school-aged youth in 44 cities and 11 military installations in Virginia. Boys and Girls Clubs inspire all young people to realize their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring citizens. Our Boys and Girls Clubs are a safe place for our youth, many who do not have anywhere else to go. Clubs provide strong, proven programs emphasizing character and leadership, education and career advancement, and health and life skills. Through the years, Boys and Girls Clubs have encouraged young people to aspire to the highest level of personal development and to become good citizens who are involved in their communities. Thank you for joining us today. We are grateful for the outstanding services you provide young people and their families. I ask that we give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session. Delegates Cole, Marshall, and McQuinn. Clerk shall announce the next order of business.
Ms. Speaker, the second and as well the third portion of the morning hour given today's calendar are not applicable.
Clerk shall announce the next order of business.
Therefore, Mr. Speaker, here in the fourth and final portion of the morning hour, reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege, please use your request to speak button.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sickles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an announcement in the wrong period, but I was trying to get my light on, and they were trying to get
go back to the first morning hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Gathered here today across both chambers are 85 change makers with Equality Virginia. Equality Virginia advocates and organizes across Virginia to build a future where all lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and broader spectrum of people thrive. These advocates come from across Virginia. They are parents, students, educators, faith leaders, mental health professionals, business owners, and community leaders. Today marks their first lobby day in the session, where they have been sharing stories and having important conversations with lawmakers about how we can best protect the rights and well-being of our LGBTQ plus community members. Please join me in giving them a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Arlington, Delegate McClure.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I, of course, am honored to rise today to speak on the 117th Founders Day of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Alpha Kappa Alpha was founded on January 15, 1908, and is the nation's oldest African-American Greek letter sorority. It is no wonder, then, that AKA is considered America's premier Greek letter organization for African-American women. But that was not always the case. It took 9 bold black women coming together on the campus of Howard University in January of 1908 to make this dream of a support network for like-minded women a reality. Ethel Hedgeman Lyle, Anna Easter Brown, Beulah Burke, Lily Burke, Marjorie Hill, Margaret Flagg Holmes, Lavinia Norman, Lucy Diggs Slow, and Marie Woolfolk Taylor. These were the 9 founders, women who forged their own path at the height of Jim Crow and in defiance of a nation and a society that demanded their silence. But that is not who they were, and that is not the sisterhood they intended to establish. Our founders were scholars and academics. They were leaders and advocates. They were vibrant and uncompromising. They were all women of ambition, passion, and dedication, with a tireless commitment to service. And from those original 9, so many of us have sprung. From those 9, we now recognize 360,000 initiated members across 12 nations and territories. We count amongst our numbers luminaries and trailblazers, women like Coretta Scott King, Toni Morrison, Vice President Kamala Harris. Mr. Speaker, on this Founders Day, I wonder what our founders would think if they were to look upon this chamber. What would the 9 founders I named have to say if they could see today's proceedings? They would see a General Assembly with the most black women serving in Virginia's history, with the first black Speaker of the House, a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. They would see a House with the highest number of AKA members serving in Virginia's history. They would see my fellow members of Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delegate Price, Delegate Sewell, Delegate LaVere Bowling, and Senator Locke in the body across the hall. And they would see me, Mr. Speaker. They would see me unbelievably proud to have the opportunity to uplift my fellow AKAs and join them in celebrating Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a global support network that found its beginnings on a campus 117 years ago. I hope, Mr. Speaker, those same women, those 9 courageous founders, would not want us to be silent nor settle for the status quo. Amidst our celebration, I'd like to think that they would instead challenge us to continue striving for progress and pursuing justice in the name of service and sisterhood, which is why the members of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated are proud to carry our current program initiatives, which include empowering our families, building our economic wealth, enhancing our environment, advocating for social justice, and uplifting our local community. These initiatives are designed to improve the lives of those who we serve, because our mission is to forever be of service to all mankind. Mr. Speaker, it is with that I wish the phenomenal women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated a wonderful Founders Day. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, the delegate from Newport News. I wonder what she's going to talk about. Delegate Price.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
I do want to say well done to my sorority sister, but I rise for a different topic. Mr. Speaker, today is as good as any other day to help raise awareness about food allergies. And I want to shout out the team at FAIR, Food Allergy Research and Education, located right here in Virginia. And according to their research, food allergy is a serious and potentially life-threatening medical condition affecting 33 million Americans, including 1 in 13 children. Mr. Speaker, that equates to about 2 in every United States classroom. And every 10 seconds, a food allergy reaction sends a patient to the emergency room. Food allergies aren't just people being picky or creating inconveniences. Actually, your minor inconvenience could be a huge life-saving measure to others. So today, on behalf of the estimated 516,000 Virginians who live with food allergies, thank you to those that take this seriously and do their part to help keep each other safe. And right here, Mr. Speaker, we want to say thank you to the clerk's office and staff and to the speaker's office and staff for the work that they do to keep members and staff safe here as well. So thank you.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to rise and return to the first morning hour for the purpose of an introduction.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you.
Sickles, that's how it's done, Sickles. Say it again for him. Say it again for the people in the back.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to rise to return to the first morning hour for the purpose of an introduction.
Thank you. The delegate has the floor. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And members of the House, today in the gallery, we are joined by advocates with Donate Life for their lobby day. If you could please rise. Donate Life Virginia, officially known as the Virginia Transplant Council, was established in 1986 and charged by the General Assembly to manage the Virginia Organ Donor Registry and educate Virginians about the critical need for organ, eye, and tissue donors and life-saving transplants. More than 3,000 Virginians are waiting for a transplant, and 16 people die every single day in the United States because the organ they need isn't donated in time. Close to 5 million Virginians have already said yes to being organ donors. We know this issue is close to home for many of us in this chamber today. Just want to say thank you, Mr. Speaker, for being a living donor. Donate Life works with important stakeholders to encourage organ donation registration because one organ and tissue donor has the power to save up to 8 lives and heal 75 others. So I ask you to join me in giving Donate Life Virginia a warm house welcome and appreciate them for their advocacy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being in the Capitol today. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Seabolt.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise and ask that we return to the first morning hour for the purpose of an introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Sickles.
Today we are joined in the gallery by members of the Council of State Government South who have made the trip from their headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia. I ask them to please rise. CSG South is a nonprofit, nonpartisan member organization that serves 15 southern states. Their team provides policy research and analysis, leadership development, and government staff training to encourage collaboration and cooperation between governments in the southern states. Delegate Rasul, Delegate Sewell, and I are all graduates of their leadership program. This group also hosts an annual Southern Legislative Conference, which will be held this year in Birmingham, Alabama in July. Thank you to the members of CSG South for your dedication and for joining us today at the Capitol. Please join me in giving them a warm house welcome.
Welcome CSG to the South, CSG South to the Capitol. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise and request that we return to the first part of the morning hour for purposes of an introduction.
A true professional. The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker and members of the body in the gallery today, we have a group from the Chesapeake Energy and Storage Association known as CHESA. I hope they'll stand up while I talk about them. Mr. Speaker, it's been amazing to watch an entire industry grow right before our eyes and become a thriving economic engine in Virginia. That's what we've seen with the solar energy industry and what we're starting to see with battery storage. CHESA was founded in 1984 as the Maryland, D.C., Virginia Solar Energy Industries Association. They knew then, Mr. Speaker, what we all know now, that solar energy is a vital part of Virginia and our nation's energy solution. We're headed to 100% clean energy in Virginia, Mr. Speaker, in large part because members of CHESA are working so hard and so well to bring the solar and battery industry to Virginia. I hope the members will join me in welcoming CHESA to the General Assembly.
Welcome to the Capitol today. The clerk will call the calendar.
Mr. Speaker, calendar for today, Wednesday, January 15th, 2025. In light of the work going on in committees, there is no floor business today. That completes today's calendar.
Per House Rule 51, the House is returned to the morning hour. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communications?
Mr. Speaker, no communication, simply the very busy morning, afternoon, and morning schedules, which are online and are as follows. The Committee on Finance meeting today has been canceled. However, the Appropriations Committee will be meeting 15 minutes after adjournment of the House. Up on the 12th floor of the General Assembly room. Probes at 15 minutes. We'll update that. Once they're finished, the Subcommittee on Transportation and Public Safety of a probes will be meeting again on the 12th floor. And once they're finished, then the Commerce, Ag, and Natural Resources Subcommittee. So probes and then two subs. The Committee on Courts of Justice, they are foregoing their time. There will be no full courts meeting. However, 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House, the Civil Subcommittee will be meeting on the second floor in the House North Subcommittee room. Then an hour after adjournment of the House in House Room Committee C, just down the hall on the second floor, Criminal Subcommittee. So no courts and the two subs. At 3:30, the Virginia Environmental and Renewable Energy Caucus will be meeting on the 10th floor Subcommittee room, or in that room. The Agriculture, Chesapeake, and Natural Resources Agriculture Subcommittee is going to be meeting at 4 o'clock. Today, they're going to be over on the House Subcommittee South Room, which is on the second floor at 4 o'clock. Transportation Committees, Highway Safety and Policy Subcommittee, they're meeting at 4 o'clock today in House Room A down in the lower level. And rounding out today, meeting is for the rest of the day. Looking ahead to tomorrow, as was mentioned previously, Legislative Sportsman's Caucus will meet bright and early at 7 a.m. in the 7th floor North Subcommittee room, 7th floor North meeting room. CC&T has their CC&T Subcommittee number 2 is meeting at 7:30. They'll be in the House South Subcommittee on the second floor. That's at 7:30. Also at 7:30, Delegate Willett's Health and Human Services Behavioral Health Subcommittee. They'll be in House Committee Room C on the second floor. That's at 7:30. The Hampton Roads Caucus is meeting at 7:30 tomorrow up on the 7th floor South meeting room. So very busy at 7:30 tomorrow. 8 o'clock, Public Safety Committee's Public Safety Subcommittee is meeting in the House North Subcommittee. That's at 8 tomorrow. The Aviation Caucus is meeting at 8 as well. They'll be in Senate Room 3 down in the extension here in the Capitol. At 8:15, the Conservative Energy Caucus is meeting. They'll be up on the House Subcommittee Room 8. Then back to full-on legislative business, Health and Human Services Committee. They'll be meeting at 8:30 in House Committee Room C at their regular time and location. Then once they're finished, HHS's Health Professions Subcommittee will meet immediately upon adjournment again in House Room C. As well, the Transportation, Full Committee on Transportation will be meeting at 9 a.m. They'll be in House Committee Room B on the second floor. And then the two caucuses will be meeting at 11:30 for the Republicans in House Room 2. Democratic caucus will meet at 11 a.m. in House Room 1. Mr. Speaker, these are all the announcements I have, and again, all of this stuff is listed on the General Assembly website if you're interested.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a request.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you. For clarity, if the clerk would repeat the meeting room for the criminal subcommittee, given that it has never not met in the full committee room, and I want to make sure that every member is aware of the new location.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, in light of that request, the criminal subcommittee meeting 1 hour after adjournment, and they will be in House Committee Room C on the second floor. House Committee Room C for Crim Sub.
The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourned today, it adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene tomorrow at 12 noon. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House do now adjourn. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House stands adjourned until tomorrow at 12 noon.